Over the next 5 to 7 minutes, she is going to share an experience of how she developed and practices a personal strategy for building connections through networking with her speech title, Hi, I'm Tom. Please welcome Toastmaster Tomi Daniel.
5 years ago, I moved into a new house. 5 days later, I heard the doorbell ring. It was a handsome stranger who did not look like a salesman. I wondered if he was looking for the former occupants of the house, not knowing they had moved. But he looked at me with a big smile on his face. He stretched out his hand for a handshake and said, "Hi, I'm Tom. I live across the road, and I came over to welcome you to the neighborhood." Wow, not a stranger after all, or a salesman. This was someone who had intentionally left his house, crossed the road, and came over to welcome the new kids on the block to the neighborhood. Who does that? Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, Tom Sawyer did. And out of that intentional extension of warmth and welcome 5 years ago, I was able to develop a new strategy for building connections through networking. This morning, I'll share some aspect of my experience networking with you. It started with those famous 3 words, "Hi, I'm Tom." During my speech, I will present 3 of the values of networking I have experienced. And at the end, I intend to leave you with a challenge to take your networking up a notch or 2 and how you can do that. Tom was the neighbor who lived across the road from us. He's a different race and around the same age. He has 2 siblings and parents who live in the area. He lived in the house with his son. The first 90 days when we moved here, I walked on our yard, sometimes twice a day. That gave me the opportunity to get to know some of our neighbors, but none as Tom and Thomas, his son. Introduced us to his parents and siblings. His parents own the house and are frequently there too. And 5 months later, after that meeting on my doorstep, we spent Thanksgiving at Tom's house with his extended family, parents, siblings, son, nephews, nieces, and friends. Since then, we've had lots of hangouts like that together. We've had the opportunity to influence one another for good and learn more about one another. 3 years ago, Tom moved to Northern California to start a business. We miss a friendly neighbor turned friend, but we still follow his progress from being the new kid on the block in his new community to becoming the respected local business owner that he is now. His actions 5 years ago reminded me that networking is not complicated. It's basically 4 things that rest on the famous 3 words he said to me, "Hi, I'm Tom." And so I have used that approach to do 4 things. Crossing the road. Sometimes it's physical. And sometimes it's a few steps away or a long drive or flight away. Sometimes it's me waking up in the middle of the night to connect with someone else in another time zone. Other times, it's a different kind of road that I've had to cross. It's the road of race, the road of age, the road of gender, the role of social status, the role of political and religious ideologies. But I have had to cross that road because I saw it work for Tom with me, and I know that it works for others, for me, with others as well. The second approach of my strategy has been to press the doorbell. I found out that it is easy to cross the road, but sometimes you lose your nerve. and you do not take that step. And so I have pressed the doorbell several times to back up my intention to connect, to back up my action of crossing the road. The hardest for me has been the doorbell of social media. I love to keep my things private, but I have had to press that doorbell and not just learn about the new social media platform out there, but to actually create an account and find people to connect with. The third aspect of my approach has been to not only cross the road or press the doorbell, but to give a big smile and stretch out my hand for a handshake and say, "Hi, I'm Tomi. I am here to introduce myself to you because I'm new in the neighborhood." Or I find someone who just joined, I'm like, "Welcome to the neighborhood." The fourth thing I have done is following up with my contact, because that is where the value of networking is unlocked. If Tom had just crossed over the road, pressed my doorbell, and welcomed me to the neighborhood, and not followed up with the many conversations we've had afterwards, connecting me with his family, and having all those hangouts, there wouldn't have been anything beyond that initial contact. But we have unlocked value, all of us, within that relationship. And so I have done that several times. Fellow Toastmasters, what are some of the value that I have gotten? I have been able to connect with people outside and above my league that I would not have met if I had not made that step. I have been able to expand my network through their own network. Secondly, I have learned things I may have missed out on if I had remained in my bubble or in my comfort zone. Thirdly, I have been able to accomplish things through my expanded network. The most recent, there are 3 African computer scientists who are now at UCR for 2 years of postdoc experience. It started 3 years ago with me crossing over to a UCR vice president at an event and saying, "Hi, I'm Tomi." And so I challenge you this morning. I don't know what road you have to cross to connect with your people of interest, but cross that road. I don't know what doorbell you need to press or continue pressing, but do it. And I don't know whose business card or phone number you have collected, but have refused to follow up on or forgotten to do it. Think of 5 people today that you can either cross the road to go press their doorbell and say, "Hi, I'm Tyre," or "I'm Amy," or "I'm Frankie. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the neighborhood. I'm new in the neighborhood," and introducing myself. Whatever you have to do, it helps to connect and form networks. And it begins with just crossing over, pressing the doorbell, giving a big smile, offering a handshake and saying, "Hi, I'm Tomi. Nice to meet you, Madam Toastmaster."